Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kristine, and today we are going to talk about the app KnitCompanion. This is a really great app. It's free for the basic fees, and then there's 2 different subscription fees for it. And so I'll kind of take us through what the basics are and how to kind of use it and connect to your Ravelry and Dropbox and all of that. And then I'll kind of go into kind of a very brief skim over the 2 different subscription tiers and the cool things that you can do with them. So let's get started. Here we go. Okay.
But now that I'm standing in these, turn off my pinky toe.
Okay. So can everyone see my screen?
I think
yes.
Okay, awesome. So KnitCompanion is going to be right here. So when you first open, kind of see everything here. And so on the right-hand side are all of your kind of navigation, your navigational menu. And so right now I'm in settings. And so let's connect to my Ravelry. So at the very bottom, you're going to see linked accounts, and you see that no accounts are linked.
Is everybody seeing the same screen?
No.
Me neither.
No.
So where did you get this screen from?
So
is this the first one or?
So when you open, so when you just, so if I were to quit the app and open, you can see, so there's everything here. And then on the right-hand side, you see projects, PDFs, designs, upgrade, and then settings.
Okay.
And so this is your settings. So this is where you can kind of customize everything that you're doing. Can everyone see it now? Got it?
Got it.
Awesome. Yeah, and if you have any questions, definitely, just like Kim did, just feel free to pop in. So in the settings, so you can see kind of general. So just a note, so the knitter's name, if you have, for example, so I have KnitCompanion on my iPad and on my phone. And so putting in the knitter's name to match the exact same in both things, and they're case sensitive, is really important, or else you won't be able to kind of cross over your projects and share them. I don't really understand it, but that's just kind of what they're doing with it. This isn't kind of a like, oh, it's a casual thing. It's case sensitive, definitely kind of put it in there. So I just put my Ravelry username. So we kind of have files. So here's how you can see them. Sounds, if you'd like to have them on, markers and colors, which we'll get to. And then linked accounts. So there aren't any accounts that are linked.
I'm sorry, Kristine, to interrupt, but are you recording this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I should be.
Yeah, it looks like it's.
It is. There's a blinking red button.
Okay.
So let's get the Ravelry account linked first. So what I'm going to do is on the right-hand side again, I'm going to just go to projects. And so at the top now, at the top center, you can see local, Ravelry, and Dropbox. And so I'm going to click on Ravelry. And it's just going to automatically take me to the Ravelry login. And so I will just log in. Oh, there we go. And then I will click authorize. And now it's linked. And so these are all of the PDFs that I have in my Ravelry library kind of thing. And so I can see them all here. And then it's the same concept with your Dropbox. So you would just click on Dropbox. And I don't have a Dropbox, but if you do, you would just follow the same concept. So you would just either sign in with Google, or you would put in your, oh, I guess I do have a Dropbox. I don't know if that's valid anymore. So you would just sign in and then it'll link. And so here we are. So that's how you link. Any questions about that, or is that pretty straightforward or clear?
Straightforward. It will
Awesome.
work.
Yeah, so now let's add a project. So that this one is where it kind of gets a little awkward. So the things that you need to remember are the right-hand menu. So where you see the projects and PDFs, and can you see where I'm highlighting it and changing it?
Yes.
So this menu on the right-hand side and the top 3 menu between local, Ravelry, and Dropbox. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Run differently. And so what you need to do before you start a project is that you need to download it onto this local part for the PDFs. So for projects, there's only local. For PDFs, there's local, Ravelry, and Dropbox. And so let's say, and I'll show how to open it through this one, and then I'll also show you how to open it through a file. So if you have a pattern that's not a part of your Ravelry. So let's see. So you can see on the right-hand side, I'm in PDFs, and then on the top, I'm in Ravelry. So those are the 2 parts that are highlighted. And so all that I'm going to do is I'm going to find my pattern, which I'm going to do the winter lights. So here's the Stephen West. And then all I have to do is click on that one, and then it'll show that it's been downloaded. So now what I have to do is stay in PDF. So keep the right-hand menu still, the blue highlight still on PDFs, but now on the top one, go from Ravelry to local. And so these are all of the downloaded PDFs that I have on my device that I've downloaded into KnitCompanion that I haven't started projects with necessarily, but I have them here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down until I find Winter Lights. And so here, there's this little ellipses, so you can duplicate, rename, share it, upload it, and delete it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, and I'll just click on it. So I don't click on the ellipses, I just click on the project image. And then here, I can start the project. So here there's a couple different things that you can do. So for this one, I just want to keep all of the pages. I don't need to get rid of any of them. I'm happy with all of the pages as is. And they're all here, and you can see, so I know that all of the pages are included because up here when you see at the top, the little menu, they're all highlighted with a red number. So I know that they're going to be included. So now all I'm gonna do is hit Start Project, and then I'll give it a name. So it is Winter Lights, and I'll hit Create, and here it is. And so now when I go into my projects menu on the local, it'll be, nope, that's not what I wanted. It'll be right there at the bottom. So it'll show up, and you can sort this any kind of way. So if you have a bunch of different ones, you can sort them all different kinds of ways. You can sort alphabetically and everything. And here's my, so that's how to open a project just in KnitCompanion that is connected to your Ravelry or your Dropbox. But like, I'm sure just like me, you might have a bunch of projects that aren't necessarily connected to your Ravelry or patterns. Sorry to say, patterns, I should say. And so here's how you would do that. So on my iPad, again, I'm just going to open files. And so files for the iPhone or iPad is going to be at the bottom. There is this, it's just that little blue manila folder. Okay. And so I'll click on that. And so I'm already in my knitting folder. So you kind of just find your knitting folder, and there are a bunch of patterns here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one. And so as you can see, this is an entire book It's pretty large. There's, you know, it's an entire crochet pattern book. And so I only want to do one pattern, but I have to upload the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is up on the right, actually, it'll just automatically let you open into KnitCompanion. And so you can either click that one, or if you go to the share button, it'll show up either as an icon, or if you click more, and then it'll show up as your suggestion. So I'll click KnitCompanion. And then here. So I don't want 168 pages. That's not necessary for this. So what I'm going to do, so on the right-hand side for this, you can see the three little icons with the check mark, the X, and then this single box with the check mark. And so these are all, so the top one is check all of the pages. The middle one with the X is uncheck all of the pages. And then the single box is check one page at a time. So I'm going to uncheck all of them. And so now you can see it's gone from red to gray. I have the pages. So what I want for this is, since this is a book in Spanish, I need the translation. So I need to have the key for knowing what's going to be what. And so I found page 50. And so now what I'll do is I'll hit that single checkbox. And so then I can see, so I have page 50. And then the pattern that I'm gonna do is Priscilla, Margot Godzilla. And so she starts on page 84. So now we'll click on page 84 and then again, click that single check mark and then go to the next one. And then the next one, and the next one. And I don't need 88 because that's just a nice little photo. And then this one. And so then these are all the pages I need. So these are the only ones that are highlighted. So now when I hit the top start project, we'll put in Priscilla. That's not how you spell her name. How do you spell her name? There we go. And once I hit create project, now you can see instead of having 160 something pages, I only have the 6. So I start off with the translation, the keywords, and then here is just the simple pattern that I need. So then if I wanted to add more, if I wanted to do like a different pattern from that book, all I would have to do is on the right-hand side again, go from projects down into PDFs. And then you can see that it is right there at the top. So I would just click on it again, and then I would hit the middle icon on the right-hand side to unclick all of them. And then I would just click the ones that I need. So then you can use it multiple times so you don't have to re-download it every single time. So any questions about uploading it through KnitCompanion or through your files? Or okay, cool. Moving on. So the projects. Okay, so just kind of so for the basic portion of this, let's find, where's Priscilla? So here we have our basic kind of layout. So you have, this one is your row slider. So this yellow highlighter that goes up and down is your row slider. And then this blue one is your stitch slider. And so what you can do is you can use your highlighter to just move it down so that you know exactly where you are, where you're going, and continue on down. And same thing with this. So if you're doing a chart or something, you can use this one to follow along. And the really great thing is so for KnitCompanion, these are completely independent. So I could have it all the way down here for this page. And then when I go, I guess I didn't need that one. When I go to this page, I can make it exactly where I need it to be. So if you have a pattern that you have to flip back and forth on things, you can use the highlighter and the stitch slider, the stitch counter, to help your eye find it a lot more quickly, so you don't have to keep on trying to find it again and worry about finding the wrong piece.
Where did you get those, Kristine?
So they just show up.
Oh, they just show up. Okay.
They just show up. They are there. So when you start the project and you open it, these are going to be here.
So you just take your cursor and move them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cursor, your finger,
whatever,
your Apple Pencil.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So these are there. And then, so this is all in Spanish, so this won't really help.
No.
But let's say, so let's look at something in English, so it won't be as confusing. What would be a good one? Let's look at this one. So as you can see again, so here is the, here's the stitch. Here's the row slider, here's the stitch slider. And then, so let's say, this also isn't a good pattern to show this. What would be a good pattern? Winter Lights, that'll be a good one. Yep. Okay, so let's say I'm in the middle of the row and I can't, I have to put it down. I can't finish the row. You want to be able to remember what part you're at, especially if it's a repeating pattern. So you have the row counter. So let's say I am right here. So I'm on row 8. I'm on this side. And let's say that I have to stop in the middle of it. So there is this other, it's a little point, kind of like pointer for you. And so the way that it shows up is if you just take your finger or your pencil or stylus and you just press and hold down, it'll show up. And so you can see it's a little dot with a little kind of diamond around it. And this, you can put it and you can move it to wherever exactly you need it. So if you're working on something in particular, you can say, okay, I stopped, but I know that I'm right here on the pattern. I've already done this part. I don't have to worry about recounting. This is the thing that I have to do. So there's that. And then on the bottom, you can see a bunch of different counters. And so for the basic package, this is pretty much as good as you can get. It's very basic, just multicolored. They go up to, I believe, like $999. And so you can, so if you just, by tapping on it, it increases it by 1. So let's say, okay, so I had to take back a stitch. So I haven't actually done 6 rows, or I miscounted something. So if I just hold down on, that second blue counter, you can see the value. So there's 2 buttons. So I can either go back by 1 or I can reset it. Or if I want to put in a custom number, I can just click on it and say, I was actually at 79, kind of thing. So these, for the basic, you can't give them names or anything, and you can't kind of change the values to which they increase. That's one of the things that you have to pay for, but it's really great. And so then, so we're knitting and we're doing all of this. So we have the stitch counters, you have all of the pages right here so that you can turn to them. And then part of the navigation system for this app is on the top right-hand corner. you see this one is highlighted. So this is kind of showing the different menus and things within it. So you can choose to show them both, or if you don't need them, and you can give yourself more space and less clutter. So we'll keep that one open for right now. And then this bottom one is where you're, again, I don't need you to do that for me. This bottom one is where you're going to find project notes. So let's say you found a mistake or you made an edit to something. This is where you could put it. So let's just say, you know, I really like this shawl. And so that project information will now stay in there. And so if you are doing any edits, if you're picking different sizes, this is a really great place. And it'll all save in here. There isn't really any customization, again, with just like the basic free KnitCompanion, but this is still a really great tool to kind of keep track of memory things, especially if you're doing more digital patterns. It can be hard if you're doing changes to find a place to store them with the pattern so that you remember what was going on. And so another thing that you can do for this one is, so right here, so these three little menu things are, so you have your key, your linked counters, and your project information. So the other two I'll be getting on later because those are paid only. But for the project information, if you click on that again, it'll take you to a project timer and ruler. And so this will actually, it'll keep track of how long you've actually had this pattern open. So if you like to keep track of how long it's taking you to do things, this is a really great way. And then if you need to measure something as well, probably not great for the phone because it'll be smaller, but for an iPad or a tablet, you would just tap on the ruler and then it'll show up. And you can see, so you can change the style. So you can do metal, you can do metric or imperial. And then it goes, yeah. Oh, there it goes. So there's that. Any questions about kind of the basic project kind of navigation things? Or Donna, you're muted.
So with the ruler, you would actually put in like how much you had worked up as far as inches. Is that how the ruler, how do you get?
Well, so the ruler is basically if you just need to measure something really quickly. So
you just hold it up.
Yeah, so you can just, so like, so you can see, so here's the iPad. And so let's say I had a little gauge swatch and I was just, you know, wondering how much it would be. I would just lay it across. And so I would know like, okay, that's however, you know, 2 1/4 inch kind of thing. So it's just like a nice, like if you don't have a ruler on hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kind of a great little tool.
Okay. That's good. I just was curious how that, you know.
Yeah, totally. So before we move into kind of the paid kind of fancier aspects of this, let's talk about sharing the project. So let's say you have finished a project, you've put in all of your notes with all of the edits that you've made, the yarn that you've used, kind of everything that you need to know about this project. And you want to be able to store it so that if something were to happen, you wouldn't lose it. So what you would do is you would, on your projects page, so again, see I'm on the local and I'm on the projects menu. So let's pick something. So let's say I have finished the Rift Tee. I have all my edits and all of my comments and things in there, and I would like to store it. So at the bottom right corner, I'm going to hit the ellipses again, so it'll show up. And then so there's the duplicate, the rename, the share, the Dropbox, and the store and trash. And so I will hit that little share with the little kind of open box with the arrow pointing up. And so I'll hit that. And so what I can do is you can airdrop it, put it in your notes, send it via Messenger. Those are kind of the only options, copy. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save it to files. So I'll hit save to files and I'll save it in my crafting page. And I will, so I've already made a KnitCompanion file save. So I will click on that one and then I will just hit save. And so now if, let's say I delete it and I don't need it anymore, or if something happens to my iPad and I can't get it now, if I go back into my files and I go into my KC files save and I see the Rift tee and I'll click on that one and then it'll open it again and then it'll save everything. That one actually didn't have anything, but I can show you. So for my Xmas, for my Christmas mitts, that one's not on this one. And so I have that right down here. I'll fix that one later. But if I had been able to open it, you would kind of see that it would save all of the project things that I have in there. So, yeah, so let's go into the second tier. So this is the edit mode. So there are two different subscriptions. So let's see, so for the upgrade, it's a yearly subscription. So there's the essentials only, which is $9.99 a year, and then the setup and essentials, which is $19.99 a year. So I got both. So I'll show you kind of the basics with both of them. So let's go back into projects. And so we're gonna go into the Rift. And where did I wanna start? Here we go. So we're back here. We have all our project notes and everything open. And so now on the top, you can see the three little, now you can see knit, edit, and setup. Is that kind of following along? So we're going to go into the edit page. So this is not where you're knitting. So you're just adjusting and editing your actual pattern. So if you wanted to work on it, you would have to go into the knit section. So here I am in edit. And so now you can see on the side, there are all of these new icons and things. So I'll just walk through them briefly. So this top one, so this is the highlighter. And so the way that you would use the highlighter is once you click on it, at the bottom, you'll see a little plus sign and tap the plus sign to add a highlight. And so I'm going to tap on this and then I will tap on a page. So for this one, let's say I'm starting it and I want to put in a highlight so that I know which size I'm doing. So kind of the idea of every time you go in, you're circling all of your size numbers, corresponding size numbers. So let's say I'm going to do this one. So now, I just took my pencil or your finger and you would just drag. And so now you have the 4 little red squares. And so you can use that to make it larger or smaller and adjust it, and move it around. And so here we go. So there is that one. And so now at the bottom, you can see there's a little yellow square. And so if I tap on that square, I can change the opacity. So I can make it brighter or more opaque, or even just turn it into not what I wanted. square and here. So I'll leave it at the same thing. Let's say I want to have that color. Okay, awesome. So there's this one. So on this page, the next time, so if I just want to do this for all of them, instead of having to click hit new every single time, what you can do is, so at the bottom left, you see the little plus sign, and then the 2 squares, which is their symbol for duplicate, and then the red trash sign. And so I want to duplicate it again. So I'm just going to hit that middle one. And then right here, I have 2. And so then I'll drag it down here. So now I know there's the stitch count that I have. And then, let's see. So I've done it for this page. And then here's, yeah, so here is kind of, you know, this one. So we'll add a highlight again. And then let's pick that color and then I'll duplicate. And so then I can just keep duplicating and go around so that I know. So then you can see, so then there's a really nice way to be able to keep track of which numbers you're following. And then, you know, you also won't be like me and have it on here and completely forget what size that you're doing and let it sit for 3 years and kind of pick 3 different sizes and still have no idea what size you actually knit that sweater in.
Is this only with the paid version?
This is only with the paid version.
Now, is this the essentials or is this the $19.99 one?
This is the essentials. Yeah,
okay.
So yeah, so basically, so I did the edit mode, and so now I'm doing the essentials mode, which is so I'll go through everything that you can get with the essentials mode, and then I will finish with the setup and essentials. So finish with the essentials. So kind of giving you the 3 tiers. So kind of that basic startup, and then here's kind of the edit mode is the essentials portion of it. And then the setup is the final for the $19.99 a year. So I'll keep them as separate as I possibly can so that you can kind of see the different tiers and what comes with it. So yeah, and even, you know, so for this one, you know, this one is really cool in that you can customize your look. And so let's say, if I know, you know, so I have the neckline options. So I want to do, I can do this one, you know, kind of highlight this one. So I know that this is the portion, this is what I'm choosing. And then I can add a new highlight and change that color. So now I can, oops, not what I wanted. I can still keep all of those things separate. So then you can see kind of, okay, this is the thing that I'm looking at, and then here are all the numbers. So you can kind of continue to layer them as much as you want. So yeah, so that's the highlight portion. The one next down is, it's a text bubble note that you can put in. And so let's say, still looking at this page, you know, so for shoulder shaping German short rows, I would like to add a note. There's something that I need to remember personally about the German short rows. So what I'll do is I'll, again, go back down to the bottom and hit the plus sign to add the note. And then you can either choose a pop-up or a text. And so let's do a pop-up. And I'm going to put it right here. So this is what the pop-up looks like. It's kind of like, just like a little like, hey, click on me. I have a reminder for you. And you can change the color again, as you see at the bottom. Let's say, I just really like it being purple. I know that I'll notice that. So you have two options. You can either write a note and say, don't forget the pie, or you can click on this little audio sign and you can add an audio sound. So you can add an audio clip. And so when you click on that, it'll take you here. So then what you'll do is you'll go to the top right and hit the plus sign again. And then you'll put a name, and we can make it, let's just put Beth. Hit OK. Won't let me do that. There we go. Okay, so now let's say you're in the shop. Beth has been helping you, Beth, Pam, or I, or somebody has been helping you, and you really like, this is something, it's just, you need this reminder. So what you can do is you can make an audio thing as a reminder. So you can hit start and it'll start recording. So it's recording right now, and basically have whoever explain it in the way that will help you remember, kind of thing. And so, you know, I could say, remember, you need to pin the wheel on the donkey. And then you hit stop and it'll show up right here. We can check it out. We can take a listen to it. It'll start recording. So then you can hear that's happening. So then you would just highlight it so it's highlighted, and then you go to the top left and hit choose. And so now you have an audio clip and the text, and you can do one or the other, doesn't matter. So then let's say, so we're going to go into the knit section now. So I'm going to go up to the top menu and we're going to take a look at it. So as you can see, we have the highlighter is all showing up now. And then, you know, we get to this part. And so I'm going to click on the little pop-up and it pops up just like that. And it has the text and it has the audio, and then you can keep that there. So that's a really great little tool. And then, so we did the pop-up and here, so the sliders. So with the essentials, you can customize how your sliders look and how they kind of work. You can't do this with the basic one. What you see is what you get with that one. So at the bottom, you can see, so we have the row slider. So we can change the color. If you're working with a color work pattern that has yellow squares, so you can't really see the highlighter, you can change the color to help you see it more. And then you can change the width. You can make it a lot larger. You can make it completely disappear. Do whatever you want. And then there is also this little option at the right to invert it. And so then you can choose to have the entire page be highlighted and just have this white part show up. So there's that one. And then basically with the stitch slider, you can just make it more wide or not. So there's that one. Where are we going? There's this one. So these are two counters. So this one without the little link is for the basic counter. So these are for the side row counters. And so here, what you can do is you can edit them and change them. So let's say for this one, I want this to actually be, there we go. I want this to be right sleeve. So if I'm doing a decrease, if you're doing socks or something, you can change the direction. So you see this little arrow right there, and I'll just click that. So now it's going to go down instead of up. And you can change the count by. So if you're going down, if you're doing a 2-row thing, so if you're doing like, you have to do rows 3 and 4 10 times until you get 28 until you get 20, until you reach 20 rows. Instead of having to click it every single time you do a row, you can just click it once and say, go down by 2. And so there's that one. And so let's see. So now we're going to go into knit and we'll hold on to this. And so we'll delete the values. So let's say we're doing the decrease for something. So we're starting with 64 stitches, and we're doing a double decrease for a row. So you can just click that, so 64, and then every time you tap on it, it'll go down. So then all you have to do is just keep tapping until you reach the row, and then you can customize each one, you can rename them, kind of thing. So there's kind of the next level up to the basic counters. And so the next one is a linked counter. So these are going to be more fancy kind of thing. So here, if you would like to do an action versus a repeat. So these are basically things that you can follow along with. So if, let's say, you have to do a double decrease. So you're doing a double decrease row, and it'll be knit 2 together twice. So you have the name and the action. And so we're going to say we need to do this 6 times every 3 rows. So every 3 rows, we need to decrease by 2. And the start row will be, so if you know, let's say you're not going to start the decrease until row 5. So we'll put row 5. So now here, and then just because changing the color. So we have that one, and then let's do the other one. So that was a repeat. Wait, nope, that was an action. And then a repeat is we're going to do from, like, let's say from row 1 to row 2, let's say 5 times, and we'll start at row 1. So we'll change that color. So we got 2 different colors. So now if we go into the knitting, now at the bottom, so you see, so now at the bottom, we've gone from, here's the project information and notes, but now we're in this one. This is for your linked counters. And so this one, we'll see, so we'll start, so this little right, the green box right here is where you'll start. So you'll hit it. And so you'll see, so this one lights up. And so you're going to repeat that. And so you've repeated that twice, 5, and then this one, your action shows up. So it's counting down how many times. And so then you can see, so you've done it 5 times. You have 2 out of 6 repeats to go. Oh, you've reached your max of 5 times. So this is just a really great way to kind of, when you're paying attention to, if you're doing sweater work and shaping, if you have to pay attention to your decreases while you're doing something, while you're repeating certain rows, this is a really great tool to use for that. Are there any questions about the linked counters? Nope, okay, cool. So And another one.
I'm sorry.
Oh. No.
Kristine, how do you reset that counter back to 0?
You would basically, so you would, so if you mess something up, you would just go, there's the little, right underneath the green one, there's the little button that says go back 1, and then there is the reset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can also, can you? Nope. Yeah. Is that the question that you were?
Yeah, like what about the 50? Let's say you thought you had 50, but it's actually 49.
Yeah, so if you have like, you know, let's say, oh, I thought I did 10 rows, but I actually did 9. I would just go down right underneath the green one, the green stitch counter, and I would just hit back 1. And then it will take it back for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so then it'll reset the repeats and the actions. So they will acknowledge that you've gone back a row or reset it, kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks that was a really good question. So counters, so another kind of like added benefit with the Essentials subscription is you can actually embed videos into your project notes. And so what that looks like is here. So this little icon, we'll get to the one right above it. That icon is for the setup, is for the full subscription only. So I will return to that. So this one, here's your project information. So here's your project notes. And then at the bottom left, you have your time. So you can actually edit the time that you've been working on it. So if you know you've been working on it, and then at the bottom, here's videos. And so we're going to switch. And so I have the Fish Kiss Lips Heal. And every single time I do this one, I need to just go to YouTube to remind myself what a twin stitch knit and a twin stitch purl looks like. So for this, so we're in the edit, we're in the little project icon, and then I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna click on the movie icon, and I have them saved right here. So I have the YouTube link. So I'm just gonna copy this link. Where is it? Here it is. Don't play me like that. Okay, edit. And so I'm gonna click the little plus sign. So I'll click the plus sign and then it says enter video information. So this is the twin stitch knit. And I'm gonna put the video link. And so for this one, it can only do YouTube or Vimeo. I've never actually had to say that out loud. So I'll hit okay. And I can add the other one if I want, but let's just see what that looks like. So I've opened it up again. You know, I have the links, I have the project notes. And so here, right here is the video. So I don't have to go looking for it, and I can just play it while I'm looking, and I can scroll along.
Holding this stitch with your finger.
So then I don't ever have to leave my pattern.
Onto the needle.
And so just a really great way to kind of keep track of things, you know, so for like this Stephen West, you know, for all of those knit alongs, he has those really amazing instructional videos. And so you can actually embed those into your Stephen West projects. So then you don't have to go kind of like open up YouTube on a separate computer or find, you know, kind of like figure out how to like watch it at the same time. You can have it right there and, you know, pull it in so you can see exactly what he's doing with the pattern in front of you. And so then finally, one of the really cool things for the Essentials package is that you can add extra pages so after you start the project. So with your basic package, you can't delete or add new pages to a project that you've started. You can only do that when you start the actual project. So here, let's say you're doing a mystery knit along or crochet along. So here I have this slipstravaganza. So I've gotten the second clue and I've just gotten the third clue this week. And instead of having to create every like 5 or 6 new projects for each clue, I can just add them all into one. So then I can keep all of that information there. So what I'll do, I've already downloaded it. Yep. So here it is. Is that right? Oh, no. So I go into my actual project. So I'm here on my Slipstravaganza project, and I'm going to go into edit. And then at the very bottom is the little PDF sign with the plus sign on the right-hand icon menu. So I will click on that. And then here it's taking me to, so everything that's shown up here are all of my current downloaded PDFs. So these are all of the ones that I've downloaded. And so here is the second clue. And then I don't need to add the first page. So I'm just going to, these are the only pages that I need to add to it. And so then I will hit add selected pages. And so now you can see, so here is the first clue, and then it just goes straight into the added 3 pages. It's the same pattern, but you get the concept. And so let's say for if anybody's in sock club, let's say that you're doing sock club and you have, I know Beth has put on the website, here it is right here, all of the actual foot lengths and edits that y'all have made for it. So what you can do is you can actually add that onto projects. And so we have to do kind of a little bit of extra things, but what you can do is if you take a screenshot, so if you take a photo or an image or screenshot of it, we'll click on it and I'm going to share this and I'm going to save it to a file. So I'm going to change the name and I'm going to put Sock Club, and then I'm going to save it in my knitting. And I will hit save. And so now, when I go into my files, I'm gonna find it, where's Sock Club? Here's Sock Club. And so right now it is still a JPEG. So you can only upload PDFs, but for Apple, you can turn an image into a PDF by just holding down on it. And this little menu will show up and you can see at the bottom, create PDF. So now I have a PDF version. And so now what I can do is I can just open it into KnitCompanion, and I don't need a project, so I'm just gonna exit out of that, but now it's on my local PDFs. And so now let's say, okay, so for Fish Kiss Lips Heal, I wanna add it. And where is it? And here it is. And so now you'll have all of those numbers right there for you, and you can change them, and then you can put, the highlighter on them so that you know which size you're doing and everything. But just a really great way to kind of be able to add things on after the fact and not have to worry about losing all the work that you've put in or having to have just like 5 different projects for the same pattern. So any questions? So that's basically the next step up. So that's all of the things that you get with the essentials portion. Are there any questions about any of those things? Anything you'd like to see? Nope. Okay, cool. Or Donna, did you have you're muted again. I don't know if you did have
Well, because I have the dogs, so I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is.
You know, to
And
kind of, I've been, trying to watch and which side you're clicking on and where you're going. And
yeah, it's a lot. And I'll be putting these as a link, but KnitCompanion actually has some really amazing, bye Kim.
Yeah.
So KnitCompanion actually has really great PDFs walking through everything and then video tutorials for all of this.
Yes.
So it's a lot. This is very overwhelming and I'm still not fully, like I still haven't really done a deep dive into all of the things that you can do with this, but
Okay.
The videos are really amazing. And so I'm going to be putting the links to all of those when we post this class video.
Oh, okay.
So they will be available and you can see them. Yeah.
This is like, go ahead.
Oh, this is very much like I had to take a lot of notes when I was working on this class kind of thing. And it's, yeah. But don't worry.
I'm gonna watch on Saturday again too.
Yeah.
Do you have to buy both to get, like the $9.99 and the $19.99, or if you just get the $19.99, you have all three?
The $19.99 is the essentials and the setup. The $9.99 is only the essentials.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about the setup now. So this is the $19.99 a year. These are kind of the extra added things that you can do. So one of the first things is, let's say with, you can scribble. So you can actually write with your finger or with your Apple Pencil or tablet stylus. So that right here is same thing with a lot of them. It's just this little image. So when I click on that, the scribble will turn on. And then if you look at the bottom, the Apple marker is shown up so I can choose to erase, pencil, change those things. But now I can just say, okay, I'm doing pattern 4 and color A is the gray. And so now you can actually just write things in and you can, kind of be like, this is pie. So you can actually write on it like you would with your actual physical papers, which is really cool. And you can change colors and kind of, if you want to color something in, you can do that and then erase it. So that's scribble. And then you can also, so when you go to setup, you can also move around your pages in setup now. So you can't do that with essentials. So you have to pay the $19.99, but you can actually move around the pages. So if you want, this one, if you're like, I really need page 4 over by page 8. You would just you'd press down on that page until it lifts up and then you can move it around to wherever you want it. Kind of thing. So that is available for the setup. And then, we're going to talk about, and this is again, very briefly, because this is a lot of information and is going to take practice to get used to this. But one of the cool things that you can do with setup is you can create keys. So let's say, so I have this pattern here. I have the mosaic cardigan. Yep. I know that it upgrades. So I'm in the setup and I would really like to be able to keep the abbreviations viewable. So I don't have to keep referring back and remembering. And then, you know, also for here, for the chart reading, I would really like to be able to just keep this chart legend viewable while I'm working on the pattern. So if I'm up here, I can still look at it. So the way that you would do that is in setup, on the side here, you see the plus sign, the duplicate, and the trash sign. So I'm gonna hit the plus sign, and you'll have a bunch of different names. So you have text piece, chart piece, key, template, and chart template. And we'll get through all of them, but right now we're just gonna work on a key. So I'm going to click on key, and then you will click on the page that you want the key from. So I know that it's on page 13, and I'm going to hit next. And so now I'm going to just crop out the part that I want. And so this is what I want. So at the bottom, you can see the little menu now. And so I'm going to change, I'll change the name. So this will be chart legend. I'll hit save. And then the crop is highlighted. So I'm going to click the crop again. So now this is all that I have. And here's my chart legend. And this is all set. So now if I would like to add another one, I'll hit the plus sign, and then I will hit the key. And let's say I would like to add the abbreviations. So I'll do the same thing. So I'll just drag and highlight the part that I want. And then again, I will change the name to abbreviations, hit save, guess it's Abby, and then I will click again on this little crop highlighted sign at the bottom left. And so now that will crop it. So now if you look up on the top left, you can see pieces, keys, and templates. So the pieces are all of the pages. So these are all of the pages that we're working with right now. And then the keys are all the little legend things that we've just made. And then templates we'll get to. So now let's say I'm knitting and I am up here, you know, I'm on this row and I can't remember what this symbol is. So what I'm going to do is I'll hit the little bottom so it shows up, and now we have the little key sign. So when I click on the key, it'll toggle through all of the legends that I've made. And so then I can just adjust it to see. So now I can see what all of these symbols are, and I don't have to kind of unminimize it to look at it and then expand it again to get back to where I was. I can just go from there, and then I can lower this and move it up, and then here we go. And so, you know, so then I can see, okay, I'm here. So this is a, you know, slip one with the yarn in back and a knit sign. So those are the keys. And then another one. So we'll switch this, and where's Mount Pleasant? So another thing that you can do is you can actually kind of create a one-tap marker for your written instructions. And so this is, why does my iPad think it's January 9th? Oh, that's really confusing. So I'm in setup again. And so let's say I want to do the front left neck shaping. So, you know, so there's, you can see, so there's row 1, row 2, bind off, and then I need to do that 2 more times. So I'm doing multiple rows. And so what I'll do is I'll hit the plus sign again, and then I will hit text piece. And I'll choose where I want it from. And then I'm going to highlight again. So here is the text piece that I want. I'm going to change the name to front left neck. Save. I'm going to hit the crop sign. And so now here is what I have. So now if you look up at the top on the pieces, you can see here's the original 4 pages. Move this one over here. And then over here is the front left neck and the front right neck. And so I'm working on this one right now. So at the bottom, it's asking, so how many visible rows are there? So I'm going to say there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll do 7. Nope. So now there's a bunch of, you can see the lines that are showing up. And basically, you just start from the top and then you adjust the rows so that they match up. 4. And then this one. Okay. So, and then, so here are all of my visible rows. And so now you can say that it's starting, you know, if this is starting later, it's starting on this row, but it's starting on the first row, and I want to count by 1 because it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. If it were to go 1, 3, 5, I would say count by 2. So now on the bottom right, you can see there's the little icon with the little dots and then the little paper clip, and then this kind of like cable connecting thing. And so this one, this bottom one is to create a smart counter. So what you do is you will create, you'll kind of set up the settings. So this is knitted flat. So I have knitted flat. Since I'm reading it, it's going across, it's going from left to right. If I were looking at a chart, it would be going from right to left. So I would change this arrow. And I'm gonna leave the piece repeat limit as 0. So then I'll hit plus. And so you can do either row repeat or row shaping counter. And so the shaping counter is for if you're doing any kind of short rows or anything. So I'm just gonna do a row repeat for right now. So we have the row repeat, and I'll change the color. So I want rows 1 and 2. So I'm highlighting in purple rows 1 and 2 now. And so I want this to repeat 3 times total. So I'm doing it once, and then it's having me do it 2 more times. So this one is going to be repeated 3 times. And then I'm going to hit another one, and we'll do another row repeat. So then the next one, so we see row 3 and 4, repeat rows 3 and 4 1 more time. So I'll change the color. So I'm gonna highlight 3 and 4. And then this will be for a total of 2 times, because it'll be the first time and then the additional time. And then we're gonna do 1 more. So 5 and 6 will get repeated again 2 times total. And so here we go. So now we have all of that. So now if we go back and then we go into the knit, you can see things that look a little different. So on the right-hand side, there's this blue counter square. now. And so this is the smart one-click counter. And so instead of having a bunch of different counters or anything, this is a single one. And you can actually do voice command with this. So if I were to click on this, voice control, and so every time you turn it on, it gives you this kind of the words. And so I'll hit OK. And so now if I were to just say next, 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 and it moves down. So then you don't have to, you can just kind of let it go and then you'll follow it and it's counting for you. You don't have to keep track of how many repeats have I done, how many times. You don't have to have the voice control on. All you have to do is click it. So you can see, so here, so the top green portion is how many repeats you've done. This is the row and then how many total rows you've done. And then it goes all the way. So then you can also see, okay, I've done this for a total of 15 rows. And so, so you can have your pattern here and then you can kind of continue to make these little section portions. So you might not need it for the body because you're just knitting in the rounded stockinette, but if you're doing shaping where you're kind of doing this sort of thing, it's really great. And then final thing, I know, oh my goodness, no, it's 3:22. I'm so sorry we're going over it. This is so much information. So for charted instructions, which one are you doing? Let's say, so here's kind of the finished thing that we're going to, but you can basically create a smart chart. So I'll show you how I did that. So let's go down. So we're going to go into setup and I'm going to hit the plus and I'm going to pick a chart piece. And so I'll pick this page. And so now I'm going to highlight and it'll go in and, just kind of bring it a little bit closer. And the nice thing is, so then at the bottom here, you see the kind of little, like crossword looking thing with the little magic wand. So if I click on that, it'll automatically find it for me. So it'll search for those grids and compress till it finds them. And so now I just need to make sure that it matches up the amount of rows that it's actually counting it. And it's really good, but it's always, you always do need to double check because sometimes it will miss 1 or 2 rows. And so then you can put them in. So here's the visible rows and the number of stitches. And so this one, as you can see on the side, this goes up 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So this is being counted by 2. So I'm going to change the count by from 1 to 2. And then I'll just keep the name. So now, all right, I'll hit crop and here we go. So here it is. Is that what I want? Nope. So you can apply smart counters like we showed again. And so now I'm going to go back into the edit portion and this is the final thing. So again, I'm going to go to the little magic crossword wand. And so these are magic markers. And so you can hit the plus sign and you can do a custom marker or a magic marker. And I'm going to do a magic marker. And so let's say I'm going to add the pearl. So I'll change the color for it and I'll put pearl, current row, and show all. And then what you can do is you can hit again that little magic sign and it'll automatically find any of those that match. So then let's add another one. So let's do the knitting one. So we'll find, so here's the knit stitch, change the color, knit, front row. And then again, I'm going to just hit the little magic wand. And so with this one, you can choose to have it show how many stitches. So if you do more than 3, it's right here. So you can do all rows, current row, or none. So this one actually will show you how many stitches. So instead of having to kind of like sneak in and be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can just have it. So it'll tell you, it'll be like, okay, so for this row you have 5, and you can do it for all the rest of it. So here is, here is a finished version. So again, I have the smart markers set up. So it will automatically go up. So it knows that it is going up by 2. So now every time that I hit next, it shows the highlighter and then it shows the little blue line. So this is where I know, okay, this is when I'm on the wrong side. So I'm just knitting across, and then I'll hit 3 and shows up the row, and you can see, okay, so I have 4 knit stitches and 3 knit stitches. And then again, I'm on the wrong side, and so on and so forth. And it's just a really, you know, really great way to keep track and also kind of like not have to count when you have long periods of the same stitch going on. And then just the final quick thing is I'll show you, so you can actually combine charts together. So instead of having, so for this one, you know, you can see this entire chart is multiple pages. And so what you can do is you can actually crop it into one huge long piece, and then you don't have to keep changing the pages. So I'm in setup again. I will hit chart piece. So I'm going to start with 6. I'm going to hit next. And then again, just doing the very basic kind of roundabout highlight. Here we go. I will hit the magic again. And as you can see, it's a little, you know, so this doesn't line up totally. So you can kind of manipulate it to, you just move kind of the little corners around so that you can try and get it to match up as closely as possible. And say that's good. So we'll hit the crop again. And so now I have this single chart. And so at the bottom right, you can see the little link, the reminders, and then this button right here is you can add a piece or a template. And so we're going to add a piece. So click add piece, then I'm going to click 7. And so here it is. So I'm going to crop this and get it all aligned. Hit the magic button. It's actually pretty good. So I'll hit crop. And then I'm going to go on the top menu and go from edit to align. And so now what I can do is I can just grab it and drag and bring it up right there and hit save. And so now, you know, still on page 17, I have this, and you can basically just keep going until you have the entirety of your pattern. So then we'll just do this final last one. Oh, right. Here we go. Crop, line. So now, when I'm on my knitting, I can start from down here, you know, so I can go next. And with the smart one, you know, it's not perfect. You have to, you know, kind of finagle with it. But now you can just go next and follow along. And, you know, so let's say, okay, so I wanna work on this one and I wanna add some smart markers. So I'm gonna add a magic marker, click on the green, the magic sign. And so now it's pretty much added all of them, you know, and then you can see kind of here, it's added all of the green. And I can even just make it a green so it stays. And then current row. So now, instead of having to try and count, when I'm knitting on it, I know, okay, I have 10 green, 4 green, 20 green, and 7 green. And then you can just keep on going up, and then you never have to change the page. You can just keep on going and going and going and combine it all. That's a lot, and there are videos that explain all of this in a lot of detail and take you through all of it, and that you can watch and pause, and they have PDFs of everything. So I know this is like really overwhelming and a lot of information and a lot of things that you can do, but are there any kind of questions about it?
Where do you find the videos?
So the videos are actually on the KnitCompanion website, but what I'll do is, so for the, when we upload this video onto our classes page where you can view all of the other past videos, I'll put links to all of it.
So you pay for this annually?
Uh-huh.
They remind you?
Yeah, it's just an automatic payment.
Okay.
I didn't get the, the paid version until I was going to teach this class. And, you know, kind of in like the week I've been playing around with it, I really like it.
It's pretty cool.
It's really cool. It's, you know, it's effort, you know, like it's kind of doing this portion for, you know, this setup for getting the chart ready and doing those magic stitch counters. Like you have to kind of like sit here and work on it, but just being able, you know, knowing that, okay, when I finally do start this, I don't have to sit there and try and count all of those little green boxes.
Right.
You know, I'll have the little number there that'll tell me there's 10 of them. So then I can be like, okay, I have 10, I'm good, kind of thing. And then, you know, so if you're, you know, so I'm working on this, and then if I have to leave in the middle of it, again, you just take the little,
Yeah, I have the free version, but I never used it. I've had it for years, but it was so complicated, but I didn't know there were videos to go with it.
Yeah. No, the videos have been really helpful. So yeah, I'll definitely, I will stop share. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. It was definitely like a lot of information and like no expectation.
I'm glad you recorded it because I'll have to refer back.
Yes. Yeah, and the videos are really great. They break everything down, and they have kind of a written down glossary version, and they do this for both the Android and the iPad iOS systems, which is really nice. But kind of just like an intro so that you can kind of see like, here are all of the possibilities that you can actually do and accomplish with KnitCompanion. And I'm excited to kind of, you know, once I can start knitting again, playing around with like the magic markers and getting like the charts and doing all of those repetitive things. So yeah.
Okay, it was really good. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.